Hey guys, and welcome to a look at Dungeon Defenders 2. It is in alpha at the moment, as you can see. Playverse version 380.0. I was lucky enough to get a code for this, thanks to one of my friends. Unfortunately, I was too slow getting a video out showing getting the code, so I do apologise about that. But anyway, so anyone who played the original game, you'll know that it was kind of an epic game if you liked it. And I want to say here is what they've done on this is they have actually done huge amounts of improvements on this. I think they've done a really, really good job. I'm loving the way it looks, and to be honest, if they shipped it like this, I would be happy with it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in and show you all the stuff they've done. Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to notice here is that I am actually in a social tavern, which I think is awesome. In the original game is you could literally only be in a tavern with people that are in your game, and there was a limited number of people in there, etc, etc. The actual tavern here, you can go into a sort of public tavern, so it makes it sort of an MMO sort of hub even. Now, and they've kind of gone along this route here. They've actually made it a lot more MMO-like. For example, you now have quests that you do every day, and I think that's really quite cool. I really like that aspect they've done there, and the quests and things like that, they do have a storyline, which I think is brilliant. Now, it is alpha, and things do sometimes glitch a little bit when loading in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the private tavern. So I'll go into a private one there. Okay, guys, so here we are, private tavern. It's pretty much the same thing. I just really like the fact you can have a social tavern. I think that's really, really cool. I think it makes it easier to find groups of people that you want to play the game with. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into... First thing I'll do, before I talk about anything else, I'm going to jump into a battle. So let me jump in this one here. This one is the first one you'll start off when you play the game, and this is just the second one. I don't really want to spoil too much. Now, there's one thing you will notice, that when you actually sort of set this off, sometimes it does take a while. You have this sort of time here where it takes forever, and then it will say launching game like that. Alpha, that's all I can say. Okay, so here we are in a private game. The really cool thing as well is you can just press escape here and invite someone to your party, etc, etc. And even when you're in the middle of a battle, you don't have to wait for someone to come in. You can just press the escape key and invite someone there. So I think that's really cool. Right, okay. So, anyone who played the original game, you're probably going to notice straight away is there are two types of mana now. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, on the bottom left we have, or left of centre, there is a... My god, that guy is making a lot of noise. So, okay, so on the bottom left centre here, you have this blue mana crystals. That is for your abilities. So they have now split abilities away from what you need to build defences. On the original game, it was all shared. So if you wanted to build a defense, then you're probably going to have less mana, etc, etc. On this one, it's all split out. Not only that, you'll notice that the mana is actually regenerating, which I think is brilliant. It was very easy in the original game to, you know, maybe have someone who's a little bit greedy, runs around, gets all the mana. There were skills you could do to actually get all the mana to yourself, sort of draw it in. So that's kind of cool, is you're never actually going to be unable to fight. And when you start the level off, you always start off with, or start a new wave, you always end up with full mana before you start. Now, the other thing is to get the mana at the start, like the original, is you open a chest. On this one, you only have to open one chest, and every person gets a chest, just one chest. So if I open this up here, as you'll notice that the green markers that were showing sort of gem on the mini-map there have disappeared. You'll see them again at the next wave. Not only that, is this is now split between people. So, for example, I've got 900 here. If I was playing with someone else, I'd get 450, they'd get 450, and I wouldn't be able to take their mana, they wouldn't be able to take my mana. Once you actually get into the battle, though, yeah, you can pick up other people's mana, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. You know, no way to have that any other way. Okay, so there you go. So you get the abilities and the actual defences costs are split out. Not only that, it's in the original game, if you want to buy things, upgrade things, etc, etc, that all cost mana that you collected in the game. So you kind of, it was a case of, you know, you didn't want to be too greedy when you killed a boss, etc, etc. On this one, it's not based on mana, it's based on coins. So you'll pick up coins during the battle. B is you can't pick up equipment that other people pick up, which I think is brilliant, or coins that other people have. So when there's coins about, those are yours. You don't have to worry about not cheating. You don't have to worry about sort of being a bit of a hog. You can't take their coins. They can't take your coins. You can't take their equipment. They can't take your equipment. At the end of a battle, you'll all get a chest, and only you can access your chest. So I think that's really cool. Now, the other thing that is going to be a huge difference to anyone who played the original game is you have these lanes. So if you don't know what the whole thing about Dungeon Defenders is, it's basically a tower defense mixed with a sort of RPG element. So you have sort of different creatures that come out of these different places. So we've got this lane here. As you can see, it's got those dragon things, chimeras, I think they're called. Little goblins and little bomber goblins. If we look over here, we've got a flying lane. Over here, we've got a lane that's not got so much. And over here, we've got a fairly weak lane. Now, you'll notice that they are colour coordinated. So the lighter the colour and the bluer the colour, the easier they are. The darker the colour and the more towards the red spectrum, the harder they are. So if we go and look over there, as you see, it's going from blue to green, and it'll go green to yellow, orange, then red when they get really bad. Now you also have sort of flying lanes, but I really like the fact that they're colour coordinated, so you can really, it's really easy to say, okay, well, I'm starting to build stuff, I need to make sure that one is going to be the one that I really look after. You're not going to see much of a difficulty for me on this one because I'm playing a lower one just to show the principles of the game, but when it comes to the harder stuff, yeah, that makes a real difference. The other thing is you're going to notice that the actual lanes, the colours of them, are colour coordinated, and if we look over what's coming from here, you see magical resistance, and the yellow orangey one is physical resistance. Okay, now another thing as well is what they've done is they've taken it away from, when it comes to the actual sort of blocking mechanisms, is they've now added a sort of an aggro or a threat technique. Oh look, we're patching Okay, so I have to get this done quickly. Right, okay, so in the original game, if you wanted to block off a path, you had to do that, so they couldn't get past. On this one, if I press I and look at my character here, do info, we have a look at Cannibal Tower, it just tells you, there we go. Now, if I click on Spike Blockade, it says blocks enemies, attacks, dealing physical damage when struck by melee enemies. Draws extra attention from enemies. So there's now a threat dynamic, which is brilliant, because it means you don't have to spend your all of your resource points or all your defense points on having to block off areas. You just need to have one of these and make sure it's good enough. Now you'll notice on the right hand side of the screen there's a couple of things. We've got the 80, which is the amount of enemies that are coming through, and then obviously a wave 1 out of 7. The next thing down, we've got the mini map, which will be obviously quite self-explanatory. Below that you've got a tower, which is really cool. It tells you how many points you have to put down defences and towers. On the original one, you had like defence points. So if you were playing Apprentice and you put down a magical tower, it might be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. On this one, it's actually based on the amount it costs to put down that tower, which makes it so much easier to tell what you're going to put down. So, for example, put 30 down because these barriers cost 30. So I know that if I put down one of these, it's going to take it up by 30. Put another one down, take it up by 30. So you see, we're on 90 out of 800 there. And if I put down a ballista, well, that'll take it up to 140. So I think that is a huge improvement. That is something that is so much easier just at a glance to do. I think it makes it for people who are getting into the game. In the original one, it didn't really matter. Eventually, you knew what towers were. You had so many characters. For someone getting into the game, it makes it so much easier for them. So I think that's brilliant. Okay, so let me just put down this. Now, I also have this dummy, which is another aggro one. And when it gets attacked, it starts doing that. I think it's... I just think that looks so cool. Unfortunately, I don't think... I mean, they're cool and they do more damage than the spike blockades, but if I'm honest, I don't think they're as good as the spike blockades, because just the... So far, I haven't seen something that has this. If I look at my character, where is it? No. Here we go. Hearty blockade. 4% of your hero health is added to the spike blockade's defense health. I haven't seen something like that for the dummies, so that's sad. But anyway, right. So, and the other thing as well is you can put these down here, like so. So you can put them in all sorts of fun places. That one there is to stop anything flying from attacking those, and I'm going to put another one here to do the same thing. You can put your towers in all sorts of weird and wonderful places. I think it's brilliant. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish off putting down my defences here. For anyone who's never played the game before, or you're about to start playing the game, I would say it's probably a good idea to get into your head to... Your main priority is to just make sure you get down as many towers as possible at the start of the game. So, there we go. Right, let's kick this off. So as you can see, they're coming down the lanes here. I just got another dummy over there. Woo! Now, I really do think that by them splitting things out, splitting the mana out, what they've done is they've made it a lot more of an emphasis on actually getting your character involved in the battle. I think that's fantastic. I really do. Because in the original one is you were trying to conserve the mana and stay behind your towers, and that was a fun element, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticising the original one. I thought it was a brilliant game. But I think this is a nice progression, so it's taken the focus off of you sitting and hiding behind towers, and it is a culmination of your hero and the towers all together. Now, there's something as well that I wanted to show here, is that you now don't have to stand near your towers to do things. So once you set it off, so for example, if I upgrade this, I can walk away and get involved in the battle and use my hero abilities, and it will keep going in the background. So once again, that takes away the need for you to necessarily stand near the towers. What you can do is something like... Ooh. I set that to... Oh, right, it wasn't damaged enough. But you can just sort of have a little look around. And how did you get back there, you cheeky bastard? Right, there we go. There's only got one left. Die. Right, okay. If you didn't see it in the original one here, you see this sort of green... If you look on the mini-map, I'm standing in front of a green gem. And you'll see there's one there and one there. That just equates to this. There we go. Right. Now, the other thing as well is on the original game, you would be able to see... Bring up the map and have a look at any things that have been dropped. On this one, you can immediately see if something's been dropped, because they got this bar that goes up to the sky. Very much, if you played Star Wars The Old Republic, any sort of game like that with that sort of loot system where it's you can see a bar going up to the sky, very easy to identify if there's some loot around. Now, you can't look on your mini-map and see if something is an upgrade, which is, I don't know if they plan to add it. That was something that was nice on the original one, but to be honest, quite often what they thought was an upgrade was not an upgrade. So, yeah. But you can see there, if I look over there, look on the mini-map, where I'm looking at, little purple icon, which is because this is a mythical item, a purple bit of gear. And, yeah, it's not good. So, it will show up any blue items, any which are epic, any mythical items which are purple, or any legendary items that are orange. It would actually show little icons on your map for them, which is, you know, nice little thing there. If you're not particularly interested in, you know, sort of picking up all the junk, you can easily identify... You know, I've just upgraded the side that's not going to be attacked very much, haven't I? Oh, what a numbnuts. So, yeah, so you can see what's going on here. I just want to do this. I like the feather on his head. Looks kind of cool. Now, this, I think the colour coordination? The colour coding for the channels makes a very big difference because it allows you to see places that are going to be a danger. And once again, I've totally totally not paid attention that it's here is the most dangerous one. Oh well, screw it. Anyway, so I'm going to go through this wave again, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the video back in at the end of this, just show you what the ending's like, and then I'll go through the stuff that's in the tavern, and hopefully you guys are getting to see that this is, they've really put a lot of thought into what they're going to do on this game, and I think it's really paid off. I think it's very rarely that I think, ooh, that was close. It's very rarely when people do an upgrade on a game or do a sequel on a game and they don't, they change it up quite so dramatically. It's very rarely I think they actually do a good job. But on this one, I really do think they've done a fantastic. They've added so much stuff in here that really enhances the gameplay. Now I'm sure you can tell the Squire is a tanky sort of character. Hey, I see you. There we go. So basically he's got that main attack. He's also got a provoke attack, which is obviously a standard sort of taunt. And he's also got that sort of area of effects stun. Here we go. Now the only reason I want to go through to the next wave is so you can see where the boss characters or the mini boss characters come from. Now I don't know if I mentioned this, is healing now does not cost you any mana. As you notice there, it didn't cost me anything, it just takes time, which I think is great. It means that basically you can concentrate on having all your mana on your abilities. You don't have to panic, you can always back off and you can always heal. Right, so the final thing I want to show you is here, is you'll notice, once again, colour coordination, is you can see that this is going to be a bit of a badass one, whereas all the regular stuff that's coming out of there. Once again, it allows you to kind of concentrate your efforts. Right, so, let's just upgrade stuff here. Now, the maximum level you can upgrade something to is 5, as you'll notice there, and oh yeah, that's now tier 5 as well. You do have to be certain levels to upgrade things. Can't remember what level it is to upgrade. The first one you get to upgrade, but to upgrade something to level 4 you need to be level 17, and to upgrade something to tier 5 you need to be level 25. As you see, this guy's level 32. Okay guys, so anyway, that is an introduction to the gameplay. You can see the things that are different. Oh, one final last thing. You may notice that I am defending this thing here. The reason for that is, you see this blocked thing here, is if that goes down, if that gets destroyed, these secondary objectives, that will open up another lane. So it's, yeah, generally advisable not to do that. Not to let that happen even, because, well, you don't want more enemies on the map. When it starts off, I mean, there's a map very specifically, when I first played it, on 3 of the easier settings. When I first played it, I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that. To be honest, I can concentrate him in this area, it's not a problem. Started playing it on hard, I was like, nah, this time we're defending it. We're defending it, we're not doing anything. We are not letting anything get past there. So, yeah, and also I am playing this at the moment very much below my character level, but once you get further on in the game, you may when you start off find that you think it's very easy if you're experienced at this sort of game. I'm telling you now, it gets harder. Even in the main campaign, yeah, it gets harder. So anyway, so let's I will bring this back in when I've gone back to the tavern. Okay guys, so I finished up that level there. Now, unfortunately, there's one area of this tavern that I can't show you at the moment. But to be honest, it doesn't make a huge difference right now in just showing you what they've done with the game. So if I go into Defender's Forge here, first thing is you can see the equipment you're picking up. You have this thing called iPower, which is item power. That's actually what defines it tells you what you should be good at when it comes into doing battles. So if we look here, as you can see, I've picked up all this stuff, and everything's actually got a effect on it. Not everything, but things have an effect on it. So for example, you see this mythical sword that I'm looking at here. It has this speedy harpoon, increases a ballista's defense speed by 84. Black arrow ballista has a 30% chance to hit on hit to do 18 extra physical damage. And if you look at the stats there, and then you can also see the item powers up or down. So like all things, it's not necessarily that the item power is better, it's what it is for you. You know, a lot of this stuff that I've actually picked up is not necessarily better it wasn't necessarily better completely in the item power, but it had things like, for example, this hearty blockade is brilliant for a squire. Okay, so the thing that I can't show you at the moment that I was intending to do is this enchantment area. That is because we're getting very close to the point where they're going to put down the servers for a little while. So I'll probably do that in a later video. Okay, so what we've got here is this is the pet area. So pets are different in this one. You have to hatch your pets. So for example, as you can see, I had one that was ready to hatch, and I got one of these. Yay! Right, so I'm going to put another one on to hatch, which is this, and this can potentially be a voodoo. So I just select incubate. Okay, now if I look at the veterinarian, is you can feed your pets to level them up, their power, and then you also have to get their affection up by fighting with them. You can evolve them, and you can re-roll the stats that they do. So if we look at the stats here, this one gives me pet attack damage, attack rate, hero, etc. Right, there's the pets. You also have this other thing, is what I'm going to do is open up my character here. As you can see here, you've got these spheres, that as you go up in level, you unlock these spheres, and you get different kinds of spheres that you can put in there. So I haven't been particularly active in getting those, but I did want to pay quite a bit to get this one, for example. If you look at this lady here, I think, what's she called? The Grandmaster. Love it. Okay, right. So, and then you can have a look at what you can currently get and what you can potentially get. As you can see, it's the maximum on the small spheres appear to be these things. And they do get quite expensive. Okay. Also got a relic hunter here. This guy is... You've got different types of relic. So the different relics have generally different sort of specializations. A ring will be ability power for your hero. A medallion is defense power at the expense of defense health. And totems are usually defense health at the expense of defense power. You also got a blacksmith, fairly self-explanatory, and then you have this token exchange, which by completing certain things and doing missions, etc., etc., you get these tokens, which you can use to get some pretty cool stuff. Like these are Uber spheres. The Uber spheres are, you can only have one, and it really changes things. Let's see if I can find one for Heavy Cannonball Uber Sphere. Cannonball now fires a much heavier round that rolls along the ground until it collides with a target. The further it travels, the more damage it does, requires an Uber slot. And if we have a look, it says something else there. Not really. No. Okay. This guy has some epic jokes. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, groan. That's terrible. Yeah, I really am no moral high ground there. And the final thing is you've got this outfitter here. So, anyway, guys, I hope you guys like look at this. This is a little look at the game. I will... Yeah, I'll do a video at some point that has that on there. But really, I just wanted to get this out there because I was a huge fan of the original Dungeon Defenders, and I meant to do some videos on it, but to be honest, kind of trailed off, and the friends that are playing it kind of stopped playing it. But this one here, it's like, oh, they've done such a good job with this. I really, really love what they've done with it. I think if you're looking for a game to get involved in the alpha with, or, you know, just something to keep an eye on if you like the original, or you like tower defense games, or even if you like RPGs or anything with daft humour, this is, yeah, definitely have a look at this game. I think this is going to be as much value for money for the original Dungeon Defenders, and the original Dungeon Defenders I played for God knows how many hours. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant franchise. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like the idea of the franchise and you think it'd be something that interests you. Do leave me comments and feedback. Catch you guys soon.